How you doing? George Markoski. I'm just about to go live, and what I want to do is I'm using my new microphone, as you can see right there, and I'm just curious if you can hear me, because today we're going to be talking about two types of making money, and we're going to discuss how you can make money in life, which one's better. I'm going to give you the definitive answer, but also I'm going to be talking about what the rich do, what the poor do, because this is probably very important as well. So that's what's happening at the moment. And I'm just going to share my screen and wait for a few more people to come on. So hello and welcome. If you're here, please say hello. Hello, everyone. Okay, I've just sent a message to everyone. And this is it. So can you hear me? How's everyone going with hearing me? Can you hear me? And the question is, how's my sound? Because it's my new microphone. Can you just type into the box, please? I want to see if this works. Okay, so that means that people can hear me, and that's good. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to talk about how this is going to be done. So okay, so you should be able to see my screen here now, and I'm going to be talking about the mindset to success. We hear you. Excellent. That's very good that you hear me. Excellent. So, look, I've had a big workout today, and it was leg day, and I must say I'm knackered. So my voice might sound a little bit tired, but I did say I was going to be here, and I'm going to be here. And what I want to do is go through this because it's very important for people to know this. So, mindset to success, passive income. You've probably heard of Robert Kiyosaki, and this is Robert Kiyosaki, Kim Kiyosaki. This is when I was actually presenting my book to him in Melbourne when they came over. And has anyone read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by the way? If you have please comment in the comments, because Rich Dad, Poor Dad was one of the founding moments of me getting interested in, because I was always interested in improving myself and getting better. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad really opened up my mind to the difference between asset and liability. I had an inkling, I had an idea, but I didn't actually get clear on it until then. And I'm going to be going through the cash flow quadrant today and teaching you that, because Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, the man is a genius. He's very, very smart. Whether you like him or hate him, doesn't matter. He's very smart when it comes to investing, and he really knows what he's doing. But also, not only that, he's a great inspiration to me because of some of the stuff that he does. When he comes to Australia, I like to see him and catch up with him and have a chat, because I really think it's worthwhile. All right, so excellent. Sound is good. You can hear you. Great. This doesn't send me a lot of messages. I've got one message, but that's all good. We're going to work on that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go through, if you failed before at business, at property, or anything, it's not your fault. And this is a message I got directly from Robert Kiyosaki, and it makes sense because the thing is, in school, we're not taught how to become successful, how to do a tax return, how to save money in a task, or how to save up money or do anything really. What we're taught is just to copy and do things almost robotic-like, right? And basically, so it's not your fault. So if you failed before, it's not your fault, because I'm going to show you the true path to success. It's going to be great. So I'm just looking through the Facebook here and seeing if anyone can see me. Great. So, see, unsuccessful people think education is too expensive, and successful people know that education must come first. So who here likes to read? I was very lucky. See, what happened was when I was younger, and I was in primary school, when we had reading, I think it was grade 3 or grade 4, everyone ended up with Spot, the dog. And unfortunately, I ended up with a big science book, and I was quite upset about getting the big, thick science book because I wanted to read some fun stuff, cartoons. But my teacher, said, George, I really like kids that read, and you're a very smart kid. Why don't you give it a shot, and why don't you come back and see how it goes? So anyway, so I did that, and what happened was, let's try to change this view. What happened was, I started reading, and I got really involved and loved it. And I've been very fortunate. I've been reading probably 1 or 2 books every week, and I keep doing that. And I really think that, if you want to become more, if you want to earn more money, you want more out of life, you need to become more first. Because once you become more, you get more. So you can't just want to get it, you need to become it. And that's the whole key. So it's very, very important. Yes, so successful people know that education must come first. So this is the cash flow quadrant. How do rich really get rich? I want to go through this and show you. And this is very important. And if you'd like, I'd like you to please comment on where you are, because it doesn't matter where you are, it matters where you're going. So the first quadrant here on the left is employee. And employee is when you go to work and you get paid per hour to go to work. That's an employee. So who's an employee? Type in employee under here. Now, I mean, if you're on unemployment benefits, I suppose you're sort of like an employee, but from the government. The government employs you to do nothing or look for a job, right? So I'm not having a go at people that are unemployed. Unfortunately, some people are unemployed, and hopefully we can change that. Now, then, that's active income. So that means no work, no pay. So if you're an employee and you decide not to work and take 6 weeks off, what do you think is going to happen? Well, you're probably not going to get paid, are you? No. So that's the point. Now, then the next quadrant down here is self-employed. Self-employed is similar to employed, except you do more hours and make less money. Trust me, because I've been there. And look, self-employed is great when you're doing your passion, and it's great when you start, but business is not easy. It's very hard. 70% of businesses fail within the first 2 years. And within 5 years, over 90% of businesses fail. So you can imagine, that's a pretty big failure rate. Then, on the right-hand side, you've got business. Business is where the company does all the work, and you can go on holiday for 6 weeks. And then when you come back, things are actually better and not worse, right? That's what business is. And business is where you start getting a passive income. But still, it's not stable. Passive income with business is good, but really, where everyone wants to be, where everyone needs to be, is in I, which is I for investor. Because when you're an investor, then you've got freedom. Then you've got passive income. See, 90% of people on the left-hand side, 10% of people on the right-hand side. On this bottom right-hand corner, 1% of people are there, even less. And funny enough, that even though 90% of people on the left-hand side, that's 10% of the wealth. And the 10% on the right, that's 90% of the wealth. Interesting, isn't it? So, okay, so let's talk about how we make money. There's 2 ways you can make money. And this is very, very important. So one way you can make money is through labor. So making money through labor is when you get a job. In investing, making money through labor is when you do day trading for shares, when you're speculating on Bitcoin, when you're doing renovations on a house, or you're doing a development on a house, or you're flipping a house. That's all labor, right? And don't confuse labor with investment. See, a lot of people think by flipping a house or by renovating a house, they're investing. They're not, they're laboring. I'm not against it or anything like that, but you need to be clear on what it is. See, I'm a very much into the passive income. For me, passive income is the way to go. And because I'm into passive income, I prefer the income working for me. So this is the other way of doing it, capital. So your capital working for you, that's another way of making money. And that's when the work does it for you. So for example, let's say you buy a business that works on its own and you don't have to work there, then that's capital doing the work for you. Let's say you buy a property with our system, the Markoski method, and you buy a property and it sits there making you money, that's capital. So that's the two ways. Now, what way do you think is a better way of doing things, guys? I'd love to get your comments, please. Because I know what I'd rather do. See, even like, for example, people that do a lot of study, that become a dentist, doctor, or lawyer, a lot of them are still stuck trading time for dollars. And then there's some smart dentists, doctors, and lawyers, and what they do is they invest. A good friend of mine, he owns, he's a dentist in Adelaide, quite well known, you probably know him. But he's shy, so I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a very successful dentist, really good at what he does. But what he's done, he's been smart. With the big dollars he was earning, he invested it in property. And now he can love what he does. He drives a Bentley to work. He's got a Lamborghini at home, and he's invested in property. So he doesn't have to work. He does it because he loves it, and he does a great job. And, I admire people like that, look up to them, because that's the smart way of doing things. Where some people, and I know other people, I know doctors, that have spent all their years becoming doctors, and all they're doing is grinding out, working non-stop, day after day, without investing any money. So, what's the goal? Well, I really think, a lot of people want to be happy. Who wants to be happy? Please type in the message. Who's looking for happiness? Who's looking for financial freedom? What are you looking for? Because I really believe there's three pillars of living a purposeful, happy life. And the bottom pillar is freedom. And to get freedom, you need capital working for you. You can't be working labor. So I'm not saying don't work or anything like that. What I'm saying is what needs to happen is you need to, if your number one goal should be, if you haven't replaced your income through property, your number one goal should be to replace income through property. That's what I reckon. Because once you do that, happiness, excellent. So thank you, Mansour. Happiness is good. So to get happiness, right, and purposeful life and everything else, the one thing we need is freedom. Because you need the freedom of money and time. Because money gives you freedom and time, and that's what it gives you. And then the next pillar is filling relationships. Because let's face it, I don't know if you've seen this on television. You see people, multimillionaires, they're really rich. They just sold their company for $500 million. They're loaded, and they're on some show, and they're depressed. Why are they depressed? And you look at them and think, why would you be depressed? Well, what's the point of having all this money if you haven't fulfilling relationships? Fulfilling relationships are very, very important, because as humans, we're social animals. And I personally think relationships are more important than money, because relationships are a wonderful thing when you've got fulfilling relationships. And then the next thing is health, because if you don't, thank you, I pronounced your name perfectly. That's awesome. Because Mansour his nickname is Mac Daddy, which is a pretty cool nickname. Very cool. He could be like a rapper. Now, the next thing is health, very important, because really, if you had all the money in the world, but you were in a cancer ward, would you be happy to give all that money away just to be free of cancer? Steve Jobs, he had everything, but cancer killed him. If you walked into a cancer ward now and said, hey, who wants some money, right? You'd probably get a bedpan thrown at you, because they want health. So that's very important. These are the three foundations of happiness. And I made it look like a house because I'm in property, obviously. And I think these are the pillars. Now, if you keep trying to work your way there, if you keep trying to work harder and harder and harder, it's not going to get there, because we all get the same amount of time in life. And at the beginning, you do need to work hard, because, unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, unless you're born with rich parents, when you start out, you need to actually work hard to get that foundation. But once you've got the foundation, then you can start getting the foundation to build. So that's precisely why passive income is so important, because time is more valuable than money. And unlike money, which can be earned, saved, spent, invested, squandered, and lost, we can't tuck away minutes on a clock. You can't grab the clock, put it under your mattress and go, yep, I've got more time, right? But see, with passive income, you make money while you sleep. You also make money when you're awake. Pretty cool if you ask me. That's what I do. I make money when I'm asleep. I make money when I'm awake. And really, passive income is the golden goose that keeps giving you the golden egg over and over and over again. So what quadrant are you quadrant in? Employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. Now, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're an employee or you're self-employed or a business owner. At the end of the day, my goal is to help get you into the investor category. Because I really believe the investor category is going to get you to that place of freedom and fulfillment. And a lot of people say, George, you know, money's not important to me and blah, blah, blah. But look, like I've shown you, if money doesn't buy happiness. A lot of people say money doesn't buy happiness. Well, I don't think you're right. I think you're totally wrong. Money does buy happiness, but only if you know how to spend it. See, I spend my money on creating freedom, fulfilling relationships, health, which gives me happiness. Does money make me happy? It certainly does. It makes me very happy and very satisfied. And, you know, I'm saying it now for the record, money makes me happy because I'm spending on this sort of stuff. But if you're spending money on gambling, drugs, on things, you know, hookers, whatever, something unhealthy and addictions, you're not going to be happy. If you're spending it on buying brand new cars and houses all the time or status symbols, it's not going to happen. The important thing is what you spend it on. So if you have money and you spend it on stupid stuff, it's not going to buy you happiness. You know, if you've got money and you try to compete with other people in society and think, oh, that guy's got a Ferrari, I need to buy a Ferrari. He's got a 4-story house, I need a 4-story house. I need to get myself a Versace suit and gold watches and gold chains and everything else like that. Well, if that's going to happen, and if you're caught that rat race and that whole game of, you know, spending money on possessions, well, forget it. See, if you get it right and you spend it on freedom, fulfilling relationships, health, you know, I like to spend my money on experiences, on travel, on relationships, on making people happy, on, you know, it's a great gift to help people. So money does buy happiness. It certainly does. And we're going to go to the property secrets page. And I'm going to go through. So how the rich really get rich? Okay, so let's go through this. The poor and the middle class, these are what they've got. Their income's a job, or they're self-employed, or they've got a business where they're working hard at. Their liabilities are car and house mortgage. Their assets, what assets? They usually don't have any assets. And look, I'm surprised. I've met people, you know, that came along to our program, and you know, we have a chat, and they're making $350,000, $400,000 a year, and they've got zero assets. They've just been blowing it away. You know what I mean? And see, the poor, the middle class, their expenses are rent, transport, food, holidays, football tickets, brand new TV, 6-pack of beer, clothes, jewelry. When you start out, you've got to be tight, you've got to be lean, you know what I mean? You know, the rich, how are the rich different? Well, the rich, their assets is investments, properties, shares, business, education. Their liabilities, their home. Because your home is not an asset, it's a liability. Robert Kiyosaki taught me this, you know, 30 years ago. Not personally, through his book. I only recently met him 4 or 5 years ago. But he taught me that, and it's true. And what are the expenses of the rich? They spend money on education, on biographies, gym membership, seminars on investing, a personal coach or a mentor, property coach, business coach, that sort of stuff. See, what happens is the poor and the middle class, they make money and they spend it, they consume it, they're consumers. They make money, they spend it. The rich make money and invest it, right? There's a big difference there. You know, I mean, you know, I would rather buy a house than a car. You know, I've had the same car now for nearly 10 years, right? And I'm proud to say it. You know, I've had my car for 10 years. You know, I don't have any ego. I don't care. I don't need to buy a new car every year. I don't need to buy a sports car. I've got a sports car, but I don't need to buy a new car every year. I don't need to buy a Lamborghini or Ferrari. Nothing wrong with buying one if you can afford it and it gives you joy. But I'm saying I don't need it at the moment. Am I going to buy one? I might buy one day if I've got the room. I can't fit one in my house at the moment, so I can't buy one. But that's the thing. And Christina also, I mean, she just keeps wanting to buy houses. And what happened was, you know, she finally said, I need to buy a car because her car was getting quite old and really didn't fit her image. And what I did is I actually surprised her and bought her an almost brand new M3 BMW for her birthday this January. So that way she can keep investing in houses, which was pretty cool. But and it's okay to spend money once you make, see, the money you make passively, you can spend that, but the money you make actively, you don't want to spend that. So, so I'm going to go through the mindsets now. And this is pretty long. Hey, look, if you've got any comments, please let me know. So, freedom, excellent. Yes, so the poor and the rich, the middle class, the poor, middle class, the rich. Okay, let's have a look here. The poor and the middle class, they believe life happens to them. They're victimized. You know, I remember when I was in Sydney, and I met up an old friend of mine, and what happened was, you know, I was at his house and he was lying on the couch, a little bit depressed, and this is back in the 90s. And after the 90s, I don't know if anyone knows, back in the late 80s, there was Black Monday, the stock market crashed, and there was a bit of a recession. They've always got one coming around somewhere here or there. Anyway, and he was like, oh, the recession, the government, my parents, and he had all these excuses of why he wasn't successful. And there was one thing that was missing, that was himself. And that's really the one thing. You know, the poor play, and the middle class, they play the money game not to lose. See, your brain can't think of a negative. So you really need to basically think of positive. So don't think I don't want to be poor, think about what you want. See, the poor want to be rich. They think small, think limitations, wish and hope a lot. They focus on obstacles. Have you ever read the book, The Obstacle's the Way? You know, that book talks about that every obstacle in your life is actually the way forward for you. They resent the rich and successful people. See, I love successful people. I love the rich. I love learning from them because, you know, it's fantastic. And I want to learn from successful people instead of learning from my own mistakes. They associate with negative, unsuccessful people. See, the 5 people you associate with are very, very important. They're smaller than their problems. They're poor receivers. They get paid based on time. They think either or. They focus on their working income, instant gratification. They mismanage their money by buying liabilities and not investing. They work hard for their money. They let fear stop them. And they think they already know it all. That's one of the biggest things. And if you've got any of these mindsets, you know, print the list out. Cross out the mindsets that you shouldn't have. Seriously. Because I think you should really get to the next level. Now, guys, if you want the worksheet for this whole training, what I'll do is just comment below worksheet and I'll like workbook, and I'll actually ask Alicia to send the copy to you. The rich and financially independent. Well, they believe I create my life and accept full responsibility. They play the money game to win. They're committed to being rich. They think big, think possibilities, dream a lot. They focus on opportunities. They admire other rich and successful people. They're willing to promote themselves and their value. They're bigger than their problems. They're excellent receivers. They choose to get paid based on results. They think both. They focus on net worth, postpone gratification. They manage their money well and buy assets. They have their money working hard for them instead of the other way around. They act in spite of fear. They constantly learn and grow. So this is the difference. And basically, that's what I want to talk about tonight. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So if you've got any comments or any questions, please go ahead now. Also, Alicia, if you're listening, can you please send the workbook to anyone that says workbook, please? That'd be great. Basically, it's a great workbook. It's about mindset for success, and it goes into a lot more detail, but I wanted to share that with you because really at the end of the day, this is the one thing that happens a lot. I get people messaging me going, George, I want help with property. And, I'm here to help. The thing is, though, I don't want to show people doing the wrong thing. So basically, I'm here to help, but I've got a strategy that I use, and my strategy is using capital to earn income, right? See, a lot of people want to become property investors, but they don't realize what the difference between labor and capital, right? And you need to really know the difference between labor and capital if you want to capitalize on investing. Because if your investment is not passive, then you really, it's not investment, it's work. And that's okay if that's your work. Because a lot of people come in and go, Lord George, I want to learn property, but I want to flip, I want to renovate, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm saying that's great, you can do that, but then that's earning income by trading your dollars, your hours for dollars, right? And if you already got a job, then see, funny people, they've got a job, but then they want to renovate houses. Well, look, seriously, pick one. And I'm going to offend a lot of people right now, but I'm going to do it. And I'm sorry if you're offended, but it's going to happen right now because this is the deal. There's a lot of people out there, and you're probably watching right now, and please let go of your ego, but they've got more than one job, right? They've got 3 jobs. They're doing Uber, restaurant, something else, right? Now, the thing is, and everyone's saying, well, what hard workers, and they're going to be successful and things like that, and they're hustling. And look, you know what? Well done for having many jobs, and well done. Congratulations. And one thing I say is that you're a hard worker, and that's good. And at the beginning, you got to do that. But what you got to do is what you need to do is you need to focus on trying to get rid of 2 of your jobs. Right? I'm not saying work less. I'm saying you still work more because there's only a certain amount of hours you can work. But see, let's say, for example, I'm doing Uber. I've got a sales job and I've got a security job, right? The security job gives me $90 an hour. The sales job gives me $50 an hour. And the Uber gives me $20 an hour. Well, which one are you going to get rid of? Well, obviously you'd like to do more of the other 2. I'd get rid of the Uber stuff because the other 2 are going to give you more money. But the good part about Uber, you can do it whenever you want, so you're not restricted. So I get why you're doing it. Now, a lot of people say, well, let's do the security job, you get $90 an hour. However, you're working security. I don't think you're going to learn more. You're not going to become more, or you've got an opportunity to earn more income. I'd go do the sales job, right? Don't work hard, don't work smart, exactly. But see, what I'd rather do is I'd rather get paid less and do a job where I can increase my skills and increase my income. And that's what I did from the beginning. So when I started working, I was working in sales and marketing, and it wasn't good money, but I had the opportunity to work harder and get more money, right? Because you can't earn more unless you become more. So becoming more is very important. And how do you become more? Well, you invest in yourself with education. See, the biggest investment you can make, and I might be into property, but property is not the best investment you can. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm telling you the truth because I don't care, right? Property is a vehicle for passive income. Is it the best investment? No, it's not. There's one investment that's much better than property, which pays much bigger dividends, and it's really the best investment you should make. And the number one investment you should make is in yourself. You yourself are the most important investment. Let's get that right. You're more important than property. You're more important than cars. You're more important than anything. And for your family, you're important, right? Because if you invest in yourself, well, guess what? You're going to be better for your family, for your friends, and everyone around you. But also, you're going to have more capacity to make more income, make better decisions, and do better stuff. So I urge you, the number one thing you should do is invest in yourself. And then create enough income to replace your income through property, so then you can do what you love and find your passion. We live one life, and I really, I'm passionately pursuing my goal to impact, to empower 10,000 Australians to create financial freedom through property using the Markoski method. That is my goal. That is my overall purpose, and I really want to do that. And that's why what I want to do is help you educate yourself, empower you, because I know that if you there watching this, if you educate yourself, if you empower yourself, that's going to be the biggest investment. And then, go on and do greater things. Empower yourself, do our course, do someone else's course. It doesn't matter. Go see Anthony Robbins, see me, get someone that's got results, someone that really cares, someone that walks their walk, talks their talk. Don't fall for the bullshit of these people, their gold watches and all their suits and everything else like that, pretending to be rich, right? I don't pretend to be rich. I'm wearing a t-shirt at the moment, right? Last year I made $1 million out of property without getting out of bed, passive income. And I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that it can be done. I've broken the 4-minute mile. I've done it. And we're helping people. We've got over 2,000 people in our program that we're helping do this, and we're getting more. And I want to get to my goal of 10,000. So, for the people that want to keep reaching out to me and want help for property, I'm happy to help you. I'm really happy to help you, but I'm not going to help you with labor. I'm going to help you using your capital, because our system is about creating passive income. If you want another job, if you want to do more work, and if you want to do renovations and flipping and everything else like that, you need to go to someone else, not me, because I'm the lazy investor. And really, honestly, basically, I've got some friends that have been doing flipping. I've got friends that have done renovations, and they've both done very well. But one thing, they've been working 7 days a week over the weekends and, going around and stuff like that. I've been traveling the world and having a lot of fun, thinking big, but living even bigger. And I've been connecting with my tribe of, black belt property investors. And I've made a lot more money than my friends that did it the hard way, when I did it the easy way. I buy a property and leave it there and do nothing. See, if you buy a property worth 500,000, properties double every 7, 10, 12 years. So if you buy a $500,000 property, that property is going to be worth $1 million in 7 years, or 10 years, or 12 years. I look like I've paused there for a second. Don't know what's happened there. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Oh no, looks like it crashed. So just in case I'm going to record it, I'm going to keep going, but looks like it stopped. Okay, so we're back. So what I'm saying is, someone said, apart from a program, what a good course to help gain more knowledge of property management and investment management. Chris, can you please explain what you're trying to achieve? Because if you want to learn about property management, that's probably, you want to be a property manager, is that right? Because investment management is very different, property management is very different. They're two very different things. Which one is it that you're interested in doing? Please type the response, I'll tell you. So that's basically what I'll do rant about tonight. I had a massive workout with my PT and I'm just knackered. I did a leg day today and we're doing squats, deadlifts, lunges and prisoners. I don't know if you've ever seen prisoners when you're on the ground and you've got to and you look like a prisoner. They're full on. But anyway, my shout out to my PT, great job. It really destroyed me. And I want to grab some food before I close my window because 7:30 I close my window. I've been using this new app. Great app if you want to see this. But what it does, it shows you, let's see if I can see this. Oh yeah, shows you each day how long you fasted for. And you know, yesterday I did 18 hours, 17, 19, 16, 19, 21 hours, 15, 16, 20, 19, pretty cool. So someone wrote me, but I don't know what you mean by that, but hello. But there was one person that wrote about which course to do. Look, I really think what you should do if you want to start investing yourself, one thing, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, right? 2, read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. 3, read Freedom Through Poverty, right? I've really put in a lot of motivational stuff in here. What's happening is I've only got about 10 books left and then I'm finished because we're bringing out my new book, which I'm very excited about, which is really, really cool. And so if you're interested, just comment book and I'll get Alicia to send you the free link. I'm actually giving away the next 10 copies free of charge. All you do is pay shipping, right? So, and then if we got any left, if we haven't, please type Alicia, say no, and we'll, we'll see. So that's it. So guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for next Wednesday night for the George Markoski Property Show. And hopefully next Wednesday, I won't be so tired because normally I'm working on Tuesdays, but I had to have it on Wednesday. So normally I'm a lot more alive, but I'm knackered. Thank you so much. Enjoy your night and we'll talk soon.